Hey, this is Lorena and I wanted to do a tutorial for you guys. I know it's been a while. I've been so busy. I just finished baseball season and I also have just been just inundated with so much work. It's just been insane, but I still want to bless you people with some videos. I did this video a long time ago when I created this little makeup pouch bag. I created it, I made it, and let me just share this, that the video was horrible, so I went back and redid it. Initially, this is what it looked like. I think this is all with half square triangles from the repeating the cross scraps that I had left over, and this is what it looks like on the inside. You could tell it's all scraps, right? And I made it and I had the video and everything, and it just was so confusing to edit. So I went back just recently, now that everything's settled down, and I've remade the video and I made this one. Oops. I think honestly the PC makes it for you loving peace lovers, for you pizzas. This is what it looks like. And this is what it looks like on the inside. You know, there are some benefits in having to do something more than once. First, you organize your thoughts a lot better. And secondly, you start fixing some things that you may have done not as well as you wanted to when you first created the product. I did design this. This is my design. I didn't copy nobody. This is mine. And you are not limited to just piecing. If you're not a piecer, you can also do this in just a solid material like I did. I also did these in upholstery. My hexagon. And I found this beautiful gray fabric to do as a lining, and this is what it looks like. I want you to know that it's not limited for makeup brushes. You can use this for, you know, drawing. If you want to use it for your quilting tools, it's for whatever you wanted to make it. I think maybe you're a piecer or a sewer and you know some people who love makeup. These would be some really great gifts to make for somebody. Or maybe you love makeup like I do. And that's why I made it for makeup, for my makeup brushes. So I have a spot for my brushes just like that. So I really do hope you like this tutorial. I hope you just enjoyed this video. I'll see you later, okay guys? Bye. Here you see that I have sewn the pieces together, my 2-inch strips, and a dark and a light, and a different set of colors just like this. And then you're going to use your Fawns and Porter's ruler. You're going to go ahead and measure from the 3.5-inch line to get your triangle. This is pretty much exactly like the repeating the cross block tutorial that I did a couple years ago, I think. So you get your ruler and make sure that your seams kind of follow. This is a little bit short and I can get one in. So what you're going to do here, now that I have everything separated, you go ahead and you're going to sew this kind of triangles together. Be mindful that you are going to bring these two seams together so you see a straight line just like that, and that's how I check it. And you're going to just sew on one side. When you're done sewing them, I went ahead and ironed them. Here you have kind of like a stack of dark colors on top, light in the center, light colors on the top, light in the center, and this is what we're going to do our top for our makeup bag. Now we're going to piece it together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to piece this area together and this area together just like this. Just remember, like here, the neat thing is you don't have to worry about any seams, but when you do pin this together, you are going to worry about seams. Okay, so this whole piece measures out to 17.5 right here, and then cut yourself a triangle. On the Fawns and Porters, you would cut from the 4.5 mark. So this is going to be your top, and then we're going into making the makeup bag. So you are going to need an inside lining with some batting. I'm using scrap. You can see it's all, ugh, I'll probably do 2 layers. And this is for your inside lining, and this is where we're going to build all the pockets and stuff. Okay, you're going to need a zipper, because this is for your pouch for your makeup, to put your makeup in. This piece of fabric, you need 3 of them. a top, an inside batting or fleece, whatever, and a lining. And this is going to be 8.5 inches wide by 6.5 inches tall. And all of the materials here are the same size. And then this is where your zipper, the top area of your zipper, this is going to be 2.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches long or wide, however you want to measure it. And you're also going to need a coordinating zipper. I got a real long one. This is a 20-inch long zipper. The reason is this is what I had on stock. So, but the longer the better, because it helps you maneuver the fabric. So what we're going to do is you're going to get a marking tool and you're going to mark 8.5 inches wide. And you're going to do that on the front and the back so that you have visuals of where this fabric needs to sit. You're going to go ahead and lay your fabric this way and move your fabric to this position. Make sure it's lined up, and then you're going to bring your fabric, your top fabric, and you're going to lay it right on top. Now, if you're doing a lining, you always put the lining underneath the zipper and you put your top fabric on the top of it, just like this. So here you see that I've sewed the seam. I kind of honestly like the batting on the bottom area. Then I'm going to go ahead and flip it, and then this is where you would iron it. And you would also make sure it's done in the back side. And then you end up going to the sewing machine and you top stitch right on top of that. Now we're going to sew the top area of your zipper. So here I have my batting and my fabric kind of together. I'm going to go ahead, and this is the top area of my zipper. I'm going to lay it right on top. Make sure that your fabrics line up in the back to the top fabric here. I don't know if you see that this back fabric is totally straight with this fabric. That's kind of the only thing you really have to worry about this. Then get your top fabric, and then you're going to face it towards the zipper, facing it in like they're making out, you know. And then we're going to go ahead and clip this and sew a straight seam all the way. This is what it's going to look like after you sewed it, just like that. You're going to go ahead and pull this up, and then even pull this fabric together, and you're going to press it. You're going to press it, and then you're going to top stitch all the way across, just like this. Okay, I know it's a little bit uneven, and that's okay. As long as one area is straight, you're going to trim all this off, and this is your zipper pocket that we're making. So this fabric is for the makeup brushes. You're going to need a piece of fabric that's 7 inches wide by 5 inches high, and you need 2 pieces 6.5 inches long by 3 inches wide, and of course you need your batting and an inside lining. Now this area is going to be the top of the area that covers your makeup brushes or your pencils or whatever you're doing. But we're going to sew this differently because this is going to be for our makeup brushes. You're going to sew from one corner all the way and sew, and then sew down. And this is how you can see it with the batting. You are going to turn this fabric right side out. You're going to iron this area, and then you're going to stitch all the way across. This is what it should look like. I ended up doing a couple stitches. You can do decorative stitches here, it doesn't matter. But you're gonna leave this area open, and I'll show you what we're gonna do with it later. Now this little section right here is going to be for our makeup brushes. You're going to go ahead and have one fabric facing up, your batting, and one facing towards the batting. And try to get everything nice and lined up, and you're going to go ahead and stitch all the way through. Once you've sewed across, you can see it with the batting area, you're going to go ahead and pull your fabric up, and then you're going to roll it over. This is what it looks like top stitched. You are going to trim off any excess batting or anything like that, but this is what it's looked like. And now it's time to build your bag. Now for placement. What I went ahead and did is I measured from this corner to here. I want it to be 7.5 inches, and then from this end to here I want it to be 8 inches from here in the distance. And the reason is I'm just sectioning areas of where I want my things that I'm sewed, and so I can have them in good placement. Okay, so now I have my brush section here, and I'm measuring 1 inch all the way across. You don't have to, but that's what I did. You can change it up based on the sizes of your brushes. Say, make some bigger, some smaller. And here I found the top area of my brush and drew center. This is where I'm going to decide where I want placement. On the top area of the brush, go ahead and move it over a little bit from the edge on the corner, and I'm going to go ahead and top stitch 1/8 of an inch, and then stitch all those lines that I drew on the lining fabric. Here I'm showing you my placement line, making sure that it's right to where I want it to be. And here I'm just showing you that I already sewed it. Now we're going to go and put on that little bag section of our zipper pouch. Make sure your zipper is facing forward or downward, and also allow yourself to go in maybe more than 1/4 of an inch so you cover up that little area where the brushes were. We're going to stitch it down, and then we're going to top stitch this area. Make sure here that there's no fabric fraying loose, because you can fix it now. It's a pain to fix it later. I'm drawing a nice bright line on my second marking line on my lining, and I'm going down 1/4 of an inch so that I know where to place the top area of my zipper. The bigger the zipper, the better here, because you can maneuver your fabric. I'm going to flip it downwards, and I'm getting all that fabric lined up to the second line, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch all the way across, just like that. Then I'm going to make sure that my zipper zips up and it's nice and flat and clean, and I'm going to top stitch this area. And this is where you could kind of make sure that everything's nice and stitched down well. I'm stitching the area of the zipper here so that my pulley, if I pull it, it doesn't fall off. It happened to me the other day. It was horrible. Now we're working on the magnet snaps. I got these from Dritz. They were $5.99. I got some cardstock and some batting to give it a little bit more structure on the snap area, because I did one without that, and it looked like the fabric was going to tear from the snap. That's why I'm doing these little extra steps. I went down 2 inches from the center of the inside lining where the point is, the triangle area is. I use my washer to mark my lines so I know where to pierce my fabric, and get your Tooltron or any type of nipper cutter, and I cut little lines so I could put the little magnet snap in there. I'm using the one that has like a little outie, like a little button like you see right there. And let me just share where I made a mistake here. I recommend you put a piece of cardstock and the inside lining batting, but I didn't. And then another piece of cardstock and then the washer, and close your snap shut. So I trimmed off all the area and excess material, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I did go back and fix it. I just didn't have film. And you want go ahead and put the washer, and those prongs you push outwards, or that's how I did it. And that's how you put one of the snaps on here. You can fix this if you make a mistake. It's not a big old deal, but I'm just sharing what I did wrong. Here you go ahead, and I measured 3.5 inches up from the bottom of my top fabric. I went ahead and drew lines, and I did the same exact thing. I used the thicker area of the snap area in this area. I think it looked a lot more, I like the look of it better. And this is what it looks like. I laid cardstock batting and cardstock on top, and I also put the washer on and pulled those prongs outwards. I just didn't think you wanted me to show you again how I did it. I trimmed all my fabric. I trimmed the zipper off, and I also trimmed my top fabric. I also laid the top fabric as if I did sew it to see if those snaps sat really nice and clean. I didn't show that on the video, but I did do that. And then I faced my fabric forward, or facing each other. They're kissing each other, you know. And then you're going to sew all the way around. Leave yourself an opening. I left myself a real small one in the areas that I didn't have a lot of fabric. I also sewed the triangle area first. Sometimes I sew and it's very wonky. Go back and sew a straight line once you sew everything. Trim everything off, and I trimmed the corners off. And then I decided, of course, to turn my fabric right side out. Then we're going to go ahead and go to the iron. This is when your pouch comes to life, but this is also where you need to make sure that all your seams that you have sewn, that they're sewn well, because you could still fix it because you have that opening. Also in the opening, I like to sew in a little bit more so I have more fabric. When I close the opening, it at least seems to look a lot cleaner. I also checked this section to make sure that my snaps snapped where I wanted them to snap, and that it was center, and that it looked right. And I sewed 1/8 of an inch all the way around. On some other pouches I made, I sewed 1/4. It just didn't look as clean. This is what a pouch looks like with some piecing, and this is what it looks like with no piecing. I think they both look really great. My first one was that Ocean's Waves one. I did a tutorial on it. The tutorial was horrible, so I had to go back and redo it. It gave me the opportunity to sew everything a lot cleaner. This is what my first one looked like. It looked messy. But as I was making these, I got better, I got cleaner, and I made better decisions on placement and stuff. I also made some of these with some heavy upholstery fabric, my hexagon fabric, and I also used my hexagon ruler to make the flap for this one, so you can make them different. You can use this for makeup brushes if you want to. That's what I made it for, but you could use it for your pencils, for your sewing tools, whatever you want. There's no limitations to what you can use these for, and also there's no limitations on your creativity either. So here I fits all my Morphe brushes. I got myself for Christmas these smaller ones, and that's what I made this tutorial for. And it fits all the brushes, and these are Morphe, and here's my Kat Von D Carly Bible. Will it fit my Carly Bible? Not necessarily this way, but I love this. Okay, don't look, it's kind of dirty. Sorry. It'll fit this way. And this is my Kat Von D. You can fit quite a bit of makeup in here, and look how beautifully it closes up even though it's full now. I really do hope you like this tutorial. Also, too, let me just share a suggestion. If you're doing a single layer of fabric like this, or even a piecing fabric, I recommend you add an extra layer of batting to the top area of the fabric to give a little structure. You can kind of see the clasp here because the fabric is a little bit thin. I've just noticed that. It's not horrible. I need to go back and just probably add another piece of batting, but you know, like I said, I've made this on my own, and as I'm going along, I'm learning how to fix things and make them better. I really do hope you like this video. Please join us at Lorena's Facebook group, Lorena's Quilting, on my Facebook group. Sometimes I post things of what's going on in my life and why I haven't been able to post a video. I really do appreciate you, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later, okay? Bye, guys. Have a wonderful day.